Good evening, Anna.
Good evening. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Krebs and Mr. Kramer. Nice to have you on.
We'll get started in just a few minutes. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Okay, we're just getting on to 5 o'clock. Cindy, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I do.
Great. Are you ready to move forward?
Whenever you are.
Okay, great. So we looks like we've got the full council. So I'm going to call to order the City of St. Helena Special City Council meeting Tuesday, November 9th, 2021. This is our meeting for interviews with the Library Board applications and the Mosquito Abatement Committee. And so we'll begin with our roll call, please.
Mayor Ellsworth,
Here.
Vice Mayor Doreen,
Here.
Councilmember Hardy,
Here.
Paul,
Here.
Ditto.
Here.
Very good. Now we'll move to public comment. Under public comment in a special meeting, the comments will come during the agenda item. So we'll hold that or open that when the time comes. I'm sorry, we passed the adoption of the agenda. My suggestion was to hear Mr. Kramer first, as he's the only person coming forward on the mosquito abatement application. Is there any objection from the council on that?
No.
Okay, with that change, then would there be a motion for adoption of the agenda?
So move with the amendment.
Second.
Vice Mayor Doreen,
Yes.
Councilmember Ditto,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Hardy,
Yes.
Mayor Ellsworth.
Yes. Okay, so I've made the statement about public comment. We'll now move to 5. This is new business. And we'll begin with the Napa County Mosquito Abatement District with Mr. Kramer. We're really pleased to have you here. You're the only applicant on this in this section. One of the reasons we're looking forward to having you here is to hear a little bit about what you do and what this committee does to help give the council a picture of that as we move forward. If you have a few things that you could let us know about. Whoops, I think we have Mr. Kramer, can you hear me? There seems to be a frozen.
Policies for the mosquito abatement board do not involve pesticides and do not involve pesticides or any other devices or chemicals that would harm our industry and harm the Napa Valley wine industry and the people of the Napa Valley. So we look very carefully at what we're using, and we look very carefully at where we're using it, and we're constantly updating our methods and the way we attack the mosquito vectors and the other vectors like wasps and stuff in our county areas, not in the incorporated areas, but in the outside county areas. I currently sit as a secretary on the board there.
What is the makeup of the board?
The makeup of the board is a constituent from all of the cities within the Napa County, and then one extra for the Napa County. And I think there is the one for the Napa County or the Napa City has not been filled yet. I think we had one of our members that has resigned from the board, and that particular city, I believe, is Napa City, that has not replaced that person as yet.
And did I understand you correctly in saying that the board, the jurisdiction is outside of the municipalities, or only in the municipality?
Correct.
It's outside.
We only come into the it's mostly the county side area, but we come into the municipalities with direction from the municipalities, because they're nonprofits and they do not pay into the structure that is there. We have come into the city of St. Helena, and we've done some work at the pond area that's down by St. James area. And any resident that pays property tax, if it's in an area where it's not, the word for it would be, it's not going to encumber any other property owners, we have to get permission from any of the other property owners around the area to
I'm seeing still some freezing, Mr. Kramer. I don't know if turning off your video would help. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Oh, very good. I had one other question, and then want to see if the council has a few questions. And the funding on the committee and for the work you do, what is the main source of that?
That comes from property tax assessments.
Okay. Is there any grant funding or that type of thing that comes through as well?
Yes, we always look for other grant fundings for everything that we do and try to keep the costs down for the company, for the county, I should say.
Okay, very good.
For each of the cities that are within the county.
Are there any questions from council? Any additional questions?
No questions. Just thank you for your service and for doing this again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer.
It's me giving back to the county and me giving back to my city, St. Helena. I've been here for quite a bit of time, since 1989.
Well, thank you for doing this and taking this on. And if there are ways in the future that you can see for us as a city to be proactive and being helpful, please let us know if we can be supportive in grants or anything, that you see where we might be able to be helpful.
Definitely can look into that.
Okay, very good. So with that, we'll circle back on our regular meeting tonight for the vote, but we really appreciate you being here and giving us a little background.
Not a problem.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
service.
Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to move to our library board of trustees. There are 2 vacancies, and one I believe is coming up on December. One is open now, and one is coming up on December 1st. Is that correct, Cindy? And so we have 4 applicants for the 2 vacancies. I'm just going to read them as I have them listed here. Alexandra Haslip, Juliet Valmont, Justin Stevens, and Richard Krebs. I'm seeing just 2 of our applicants here this evening. And so if we go down our list in order, and we begin with Ms. Valmont. Ms. Valmont, welcome. And could you just give us a little bit of background or information that you think might not have come across on the application, and then the council may have a few questions.
Yes, well, I just got through talking to Chris, and so I was kind of seeing what we could do to kind of help the library. I mean, I know that she and all the librarians are doing an amazing job, and I really appreciate it. I've already seen for years that the library has been an incredible resource for the community of St. Helena. It's just been an amazing experience, and I think that kind of helping them to shore back up after this close down, supporting them with their positions and supporting them with their activities. I used to work in a special collections library many, many, many years ago, but I've been very interested in library activities all my life. And my whole family, we're just very much involved in supporting library resources in the community. So that's kind of my interest in it.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the council? I am seeing Vice Mayor Doring.
What do you see your role is on the library board as it relates to what the city council does and its role? Have you thought about that?
I'm not quite sure. So tell me like some of the different things. That's what I was kind of getting at. I want to be interested in more. How does that apply? So if you could give me some more insights, maybe I could answer that question more fully for you.
Well, from my perspective, and I'll let Anna Chateau, who's the liaison for the city council, but from my perspective, library board members get into the weeds of policy, make recommendations to the city council with respect to the library operations. They have a sort of a trustee role in terms of oversight and managing the library. That's the traditional role, and it's evolving, and I think it should evolve as the needs change. But really, as I see it, it's a recommending body to the council, and it's a connection to the council to help us make the library the best it can be. So I'll just stop there, and maybe Councilmember Chateau would add more to it, but that's kind of the way I see it.
Right.
I'll add a couple of insights into it, because as I've been on the board, we've had less policy decisions come through and more oversight of the library. And we hear about all of the events, and we're having more and more talking points about what can we do to support the library. And we offer opinions about when events happen, and we try to go and support the library as much as possible and be that connection to the public, to give feedback both ways, to give it, and then also to just come up with ideas and then be a part of the library community. It's a group of people who all love the library, love reading. And we've been looking recently, or the library board has been looking more, how can they add more value, and really starting to have those conversations. But the day-to-day is really oversight, and we get an inside view into all that's happening at the library.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you. That kind of gives me, it goes along with already my ideas. I was thinking about maybe doing some like fundraising in the community, bringing in some more really professional and really developed activities in the library, because years ago, we had these incredible, amazing events. And I thought that they were just pulling in just wonderful lectures, wonderful demonstrations, wonderful artists. And I think that kind of getting back into that, being more inclusive, being very imaginative, and bringing in different professionals and artists and different people. And I think having more of these lectures from museums are very interesting formats. And I just think that, having those kind of relationships and bringing those kinds of people in to do presentations. I think maybe even a crossover between the professions and some of the youth, some of the teenagers, getting them more interested in some of the different development that they could be making in their education.
That's so interesting you say that. May I speak, Mayor Ellsworth? Yes. Is that all right? I'll just jump in. We've been having a very similar conversation about our teenagers and what can we do. There is a difference between the Friends and Foundation. That's the group and the board that raises money for the library. And so our job really is more oversight. And then the events tend to happen at the library, like you're speaking about. We do have the executive director of the Friends and Foundation. She comes to every meeting and she gives a report. So that's where there is sharing of the ideas. But that is a little bit different, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
And thank you, Councilmember Chateau, for that. I think any kind of description, helping everybody understand how the structure works is really important. Are there any other council questions? I've got a thought or question or two here. Any other council questions? Seeing none. So one of the, you brought up the word inclusion or inclusive. And so that's important aspect from my perspective with public library is that it serves the full public and the full spectrum of our community and has, materials and collections in a sense that serve everyone in our community, including, the Latinx members of our community, the LGBTQ plus members of our community, so that we're a full spectrum community. And wanting to just sort of see in terms of your background, has there been an ability to sort of bring in a full spectrum perspective to what you work on?
Mine has been mostly professional development and just like special collections kinds of items. So I don't really have so much of that, but I think doing a more fuller range of like languages and different kinds of events that not just like what we do like right now with the holidays and like what we already know, but really digging into different cultures and bringing out different elements of that where we kind of like really understand where they're coming from, through their history. I think that would be very valuable.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I'll look one more time for any other further council questions. And seeing none, we'll say thank you, Ms. Valmont, and we'll be doing our next step at the regular meeting in a bit. So we'll see you in a bit, and thank you again for being here.
Thank
Be
you.
safe if you're driving.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
All right, and now we will move to Mr. Krebs. Thank you for being here.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Thank you for this opportunity. I put my name in because I wanted to make sure that there was adequate representation. But hearing the other applicants, I think they're very well qualified. And with your permission, I will withdraw my name.
Oh, okay. So
As you will know, I'm busy with other things we do within the city. But I just wanted to make sure that you had adequate applicants.
well, thank you. And I think that that's in this community, folks being willing to step forward is really important. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Krebs, for applying. Appreciate it.
Good night.
That's a beautiful gesture. Thank you. We know you're there when we need you.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, that is our discussion. Only the two of the library board were on the meeting, and Mr. Kramer. So with that, we will adjourn unless there's any further comment. We will adjourn to our regular meeting at 6.
Is there a reason that this should be the last item on our agenda? I know it's probably technically not appropriate, but
Paul, I brought it up to Cindy to put this at the beginning so that the folks can know early on. So I'll bring that up at the adoption of the agenda.
thank you for considering. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
What
We
about
all stand.
public comment? Do you take public comment for this?
Oh, you should call public comment, please,
Yes,
Mr. Mayor.
sorry, I apologize. Thank you. So this is still open, so we'll call public comment and see if there's any members of the public here.
There are none.
Thank you, and thank you very much for that point. And so with that, we'll adjourn and see you at 6.
See you soon.
Bye.